Hi everyone, in this video we are going to study about various Rdbms products, that is Oracle, MySQL and SQL Server. It's also known as MySQL Server as it is developed by Microsoft, so it's also known as Microsoft SQL Server. Okay, so these are the most popular RDBMSs, so we are going to discuss these ones. So firstly, let's have a quick look on this example over here. Let's suppose this is a DB, that is a database consisting of 3 tables over here, that is supplier, parts and shipment, and these 3 tables are connected with the help of foreign key references. And now we want to move this DB to this server. Okay, why? So that various client computers can access this DB. So how do we send this entire DB to the server with the help of various softwares of relational database management system, right? That is Oracle, MySQL and MySQL Server, right? So with the help of, we can select any of these servers over here, and with the help of SQL language we can easily send this DB to this server. Okay, so this is a basic working of this software. So in this way the software is basically used. We can select any of these softwares, and with the help of the SQL language, that is a structured query language, we can easily transfer this entire DB to this server so that various client computers can access the DB. Okay, now we have 3 softwares over here: Oracle, MySQL and SQL Server. Okay, so what is the differences between these 3 softwares over here? The Oracle and the SQL Server, these two are the commercial relational database management system, and MySQL is the RDBMS, that is a open source. Okay, so this is the differences between these 3 is that it is an open source RDBMS. What does the mean by this open source? That if let's suppose you are a new user and you want to learn SQL, you want to practice SQL, so you are always prefer to use MySQL. Why? For Because for running MySQL, for using MySQL, you need not to specifically download a specific application, a specific software. You need not. Okay, you can easily use MySQL online from its website. Besides this, if we want to use Oracle or SQL Server, we have to download a specific application for Oracle also and for SQL Server also. So this is a basic difference, that for that if you're a new user, you must go with the MySQL first, because it is available online. You can easily access and practice your SQL language on this MySQL. Okay, so it is a open source, and these two are the commercial relational database management systems. Second one is that although Oracle is created by Oracle Corporation and SQL Server is created on Microsoft, and MySQL is also created by some other company, but today it is also a part of Oracle Corporation. So these are also a part of Oracle company, and this is a part of Microsoft. Okay, now let's have a brief discussion about what is Oracle Relation Database Management System basically. Okay, now, so Oracle is the world's first commercial available relational database management system. As I told you, it is a commercial relational database management system, and it is world's first, okay, commercial available relational database management system. It was developed by Larry Ellison. So he is a developer of this Oracle RDBMS in 1979. So Oracle was introduced in 1979, and throughout the history of Oracle, how many versions of Oracle have been developed? Larry Ellison was the CEO of this Oracle Corporation, right? So till now there are various Oracle versions that has been introduced, and that support grid computing and cloud computing. So I have mentioned over here some of the uh, some of the versions of this Oracle, that is 10G, 11G, where G stands for grid. Okay, 9i and 12c. This is the most latest one, and it was introduced in 2014. These 3 versions that support grid computing, and 12c version is that support cloud computing. So this is the first version of, we can say, Oracle that's what cloud computing. Okay, so this is what a Oracle. Features of Oracle. Okay, so there are various features of Oracle that Oracle provides us. So some of these are here. That the very first is what it supports client server architecture. As we know, if the DB is present on one server, so various clients, although the DB is not present physically on their machine, they can easily access the DB, okay, by just connecting to their server. So Oracle, this is one of the best advantage of this Oracle, that it provides a client server architecture, right? That is a multi-user access to that DB. And the second one is what concurrent processing. Here in Oracle, if there is a DB and of course there is a multi-user and various user can access the DB at one time simultaneously, they can access the DB and it will not cause to the consistency of the DB. The consistency will always remain same, although there is a concurrent processing of the DB. Okay, so this is the another advantage of this Oracle. And third one is for the high transaction processing performance. Of course, when we are performing some action, when we are firing some query, it gives us result of that query within some seconds. Okay, so that's why it gives us high performance, that is a high processing performance that is given by the Oracle. So these are the features of the Oracle that we are. I hope so you get a clear idea about what is Oracle basically and what are its advantages. Now let's move towards the second type. Now a second type of that is most widely used RDBMS is what MySQL. See, it is an open source RDBMS as we know, and it is developed by Michael Witness. Okay, so he is a developer of this MySQL, and the name of MySQL is held on the name of his daughter, and the name of his daughter was My. So on the name of his daughter, the name of this RDBMS is held, that is MySQL. Okay, so although this MySQL was developed by Michael Witness, but now it's a part of Oracle Corporation. So Oracle Corporation has owned this RDBMS and now it is a part of Oracle company, Oracle Corporation company. Of course, RDBMS is an open source, so its source can be obtained either by Microsoft MySQL website, as I told you, or from MySQL Bazaar repository. So from these two uh, places we can easily use this Microsoft MySQL source and access this and practice a SQL language over here. Now as I told you, it is an open source, so various are high scale websites like Wikipedia, Google, Facebook, Twitter and YouTube. So if we're uploading our videos on YouTube, so where the data is stored. Okay, so there is a need of some kind of software that used to handle that data. So MySQL works on these all kind of websites, that is high profile and large scale websites, Wikipedia, Google, Facebook, Twitter and YouTube and etc. There are various social websites. Okay, so for handling the data of these all websites we need MySQL. Okay, so this is the basic use of this MySQL relational database management system. It is used here. Okay, so I hope so you get a quick idea about MySQL from this which definition. Okay, now let's understand the third one. Let's come to a third type, that is Microsoft SQL Server. This was developed by Microsoft company. Okay, as its name suggests over here, Microsoft SQL Server. So its name is made from its company, that it's made by Microsoft company 1986, and it is the language that it is a software that is implemented by using C++. Whether the softwares that we have discussed, that Oracle and MySQL, they're developed by using both C and C++ language, but it is developed by only C++ language. And the primary query languages that are used in MySQL Server are T-SQL and ANSI SQL. T-SQL is nothing but transaction SQL, and this is a standard form of SQL. It's also a SQL language, but it's a standard form of the SQL. Okay, so these are the query languages that are used over here in this Microsoft SQL Server, and the latest version of this Microsoft SQL Server that was introduced in 2014, that is 12.0 SQL Server. Okay, so this is a third type of RDBMS, that is Microsoft SQL Server. So in this video we have taken a quick intro about various RDBMS, various popular RDBMS we can say over here. Why do I make this video on this? Because before going through any language, one must know about that where we are going to use that language. Okay, one must be know about the various RDBMSs like Oracle, MySQL, just before going through the language or that we are going to operate on that software. Okay, thank you for watching the video.